This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Tuesday, September 24th. I'm here with Al, Brandon, Lindsay. I'm Tor. You all look fantastic in earth tones.
You look great.
Thank you. I feel like Serena from The Handmaid's Tale.
I've never seen it.
I've seen it.
Okay. I get it. I got one person. Thank you. All right. Did President Trump just mock a 16-year-old Swedish climate activist? Well, in a late-night tweet, he seems to take aim at Greta Thunberg. Her impassioned speech at the UN yesterday got everybody talking. Now, in case you missed it, check this out.
People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
Wow. In response, Trump tweeted this, quote, "She seems like a very happy young girl looking forward to a bright and wonderful future. So nice to see." But then again, Greta didn't seem too pleased to see the president at the UN Climate Summit herself. That has become a big meme. If you guys didn't know that second, there's a great tweet. We're going to first, actually, I want to go in order of something. I want to show you guys some shots. This also happened last night. So before we get into it, this is a Fox pundit calling Greta mentally ill. Take a look at this first shot.
None of that matters because the climate hysteria movement is not about science. If it were about science, it would be led by scientists rather than by politicians and a mentally ill Swedish child who is being exploited by her parents and by the international left.
How dare you?
How dare you, indeed. Now we're going to go to Laura Ingraham. This was also last night.
Anyone else find that chilling?
A time of tribulation has come.
I can't wait for Stephen King's sequel, Children of the Climate.
We're now going to go, just for my own sake, to show you Trump mocking a New York Times reporter. This is from 2015. Let's take a look.
I don't remember.
He has cerebral palsy, just so you can see. So there's a pattern here of making fun of disabled people, and I'm going to leave the discussion up to you guys. I leave you with a quote. This is from David Levitt today. This is the quote. "One is an immature child. The other is a leader and a climate activist." Which one is which, is what I ask you guys.
This is confusing to me because I think that there's bipartisan support for climate change and climate reform. I mean, there's polls that show it. So Ipsos says that 77% of young Republicans support, that's ages 18 to 38, support climate change. So it seems like the elected officials need to get on board with what everyone else is thinking.
Can you go further than getting on board? Do you think that was just the lowest of the low of our president?
No, for sure. Yeah, I don't think it's a grown man mocking a child.
Yeah.
In any case, that doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, now Greta does have a response before we get to you. We are live, so we're kind of getting it right now. Greta has a tweet that she's putting out here. A very happy young girl looking forward to a bright and wonderful future. That is her new profile.
That's her profile.
Awesome.
That is her profile.
Awesome. So she just changed that, updated that, and as a quiet diss, she is actually showing us everything she said is what they're doing. They're paying every attention to everything else but her.
When they go low, we go high. That's basically what she's doing. That's basically what you told me to do earlier, because I tweeted Michael Knowles, the Fox pundit, who made fun of her, calling her mentally ill. And to me, you're a punk. Like, that's a punk to me, because instead of jumping on board with the message, because like you're saying, this is a bipartisan
or debating
thing,
a message,
or debating a message, you want to go after a 16-year-old little girl, calling her mentally ill. Come at me and say something like that.
Now, Fox,
that's all I'm
I agree
worried
with
about.
you. Fox has apologized, Al. Is that enough for you? I mean, this was outrageous to me. This was like, how dare you? Shame on us.
I mean, as far as I don't know if they were shooting that live, they should be embarrassed. But I mean, we're not surprised. It's just interesting how far we've come on climate. And when I say that, how far we've almost gone backwards on climate. I mean, I remember when I was growing up, that the big thing was acid rain. Do you remember everyone was scared of acid rain?
Yeah.
We were like, we have to change the climate. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. The Ohio River caught on fire because it was so polluted. While it was on fire, I don't remember anybody standing over that river saying, this is a bunch of stuff from the left. I don't understand where at some point we made it where the climate is about me versus you, and it's not about us living on this planet. And I don't understand. I've seen documentaries where people can light their water on fire. There have been documentaries of people that have moved into housing developments and 75% of the people have gotten stomach cancer. I don't see people fighting back on that. So when we see people die in front of us, we're like, all right, that was bad. But anything else, we're ready to attack a 16-year-old. We need to do better as a people. I'm sad, but I'm not surprised.
No.
And I wish I was, Tori.
I know, and I can tell
I wish I had Brandon's
But no,
I know,
I
but
wish.
you're
But
not.
thank
I
you
know.
for being the voice of reason here and bringing some sort of levity to it, because I hear this and I see that you're, like I said, you're attacking a messenger, not the message.
Yeah.
And
what's the big deal on just doing better? We all can just do better. when it comes
That should
down
be
to
the
taking
bumper
care of our
sticker
planet.
for everything. I agree with you, Lindsay. All right.
And for our lives.
And for our lives. She just summed it up. All right,
Everybody
guys.
updated and said that.
Yeah, everyone do that now. All right. Now, is this the tipping point for impeachment? More and more moderate Democrats are actually calling for President Trump to be impeached. Now, let me just slow it down because it's a little confusing even for me, and I'm a nerd. So it's all over a call he had with Ukraine leader. Trump allegedly withheld military aid to Ukraine unless they agreed to investigate his political rival, Joe Biden, and his son. So the question is, will this be the turning point for impeachment if it's true? So I'm going to go straight to Lindsay on this.
Right.
Again, if this is true, everything comes out, we find out, we got the transcript, the whistleblower comes through, this is true. Is this an impeachable offense to you?
Yes, because right is right and wrong is wrong, right? So I think that we have to look at this and just say, if this is true on both sides, right? If Biden and his son, if the allegation is there, and we're not going to go into detail, if all of it is true, first of all, we need to look at Trump and say, yes, we need to look into impeaching him. Second, we need to look at Biden and say, what's going on here?
If he is impeached, would you agree that the Senate should talk about having him be kicked out of office, or do you think impeachment is enough of a tisk-tisk for him?
I think that the Senate will then do their job. You know, I'm not here to make decisions for them, but I think that if it's proper policy to go about impeaching him.
Wow. You guys agree?
I'm just hoping. I'm just hoping we don't have to wait.
You don't think we should impeach?
The Senate, like Puffy had a song.
Oh yeah.
It was in the early 2000s called "We Ain't Going Nowhere."
Yeah.
Trump ain't going nowhere. The Senate, the House can do. The House can stand on their heads and say, we're going to pass this through. Senate, you go ahead and take it home. We're going to give you the lateral. You go ahead and cross that goal line. And the Senate's going to drop the ball and say, I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing is going to change.
Agreed.
This will only fire up his base. That's it.
Okay,
we don't need to talk about it anymore.
Let me ask you a question, though.
He could kill a cheetah on his desk. The last one.
Got it.
An albino cheetah.
An albino cheetah.
It wouldn't matter.
Got it. My question to you is this. Why have...
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Why have the impeachment...
His people don't care.
Stop it right now.
Okay.
Why have the impeachment process if you're not going to use it?
Because...
Why have the Constitution if we're not going to use it? I get you. But why not at least have it on the record of history that we did not allow this to stand? Otherwise, it's all up for grabs.
Do you have a girlfriend that you've ever tried to stop dating a guy?
Yes.
Because it's just so obvious he's openly cheating.
Are you saying that girl is the
He has a
Senate?
Tinder account in the town that they live in, and it's like, look, this is him, and she's like, yeah, that's an old account. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't mean you shouldn't
His
say
people
something
don't
else.
care.
Okay.
Just saying something to what?
We're talking about right and wrong, so the impeachment would be the right thing to do. However, if it's the smart thing to do for Democrats moving forward and winning the election, that's a whole other conversation.
Final thought. She's being very smart today.
Yes, right and wrong, or smart or not.
Right. All right. Well, you've got to see this next video. A restaurant owner in Utah had enough of a man to refuse to put out his cigarette, so he took matters into his own hands and sprayed the smoker in the face with a fire extinguisher. He could now be facing assault charges. As Adam Sandler says, that's assault, brother. Yeah, you'd think. That's awful. Now, is there anything to be said about secondhand smoke? Is there another side to this?
Is there a side to moving? He didn't run up on him. He kind of like aimed at him.
You're slow, right?
But Tori, you're the legal ego. Like, could he at least say that was my business, that you're on my property?
No.
Brandon.
You call
I'm trying to help
properties
him out.
in the middle of the street, bro.
Look at that. I know.
Trying to smoke. Like,
That's the most disrespectful thing I've seen all month.
And you know what made it more disrespectful is how slowly he did it.
He did.
It was so slow.
I will say this to the guy with the fire extinguisher. He didn't let the whole thing out. He just did enough. It was enough for one. It's like it almost had a button for one cigarette.
And this guy delivering pizza.
Courteous in his tactics.
Like you can still use that.
Do we have anything that mutes crying babies on planes?
No, you don't have, and not a fire extinguisher.
Not a fire extinguisher. Like a baby
fire.
All right, we're moving on. A woman in British Columbia shot this amazing video. She caught da bears fighting in the street. Ooh. And as they go at it, if you look behind them, this is a crazy video, there's a wolf that then comes up to and watch, and then eventually they run at her. This video has like a unicyclist in it. It's
Is
like
this
crazy.
World Wildlife Star? Okay, sorry, that was just for the black people.
Oh, World Star?
I
get it. Hey, if you laughed in this room, you got some soul. You're invited to the
All right,
barbecue.
but if you are this woman, are you going to stay videotaping that, or are you going to leave?
No, aren't bears exceptionally fast? Like once they, I don't know if she was in a protected vehicle, but I wouldn't be filming that. They already look
Look at that, look at that.
agitated.
Ultimate predator. You can't climb a tree. You can't jump in water. You can't run away from it. So, I mean, she had to be in some sort of like Tacoma or something like that. I'm trying to think about a big car or something.
That was.
Bears can run 25 miles an hour.
Excellent. Are you a wilderness person?
No. I appreciate that we have the video to discuss, but I would never, ever take that video or take the time out to stand there and record it.
But how many videos have we seen like that? Because people want the likes and people want the views, and they're getting it from our show. And if not, I would watch that.
I think it's we're calling it a Pixar didn't happen culture. You can't just stay at a party. These two bears were fighting.
Wait, say that slower so everybody. It sounds like you're saying Pixar, like the production studio.
Oh no, Pix or it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh no. Well,
bad.
she called this woman described it as one of her quote favorite wildlife encounters. So like, what other ones?
Yeah. What else did
you
have?
take the time out to film? Because I'm lost.
Interesting. We got to check out her reel. All right. Well, DBL is live, and coming up, neighbors helping neighbors. Watch how farmers band together to help one of their own after a life-changing diagnosis. And you, the viewer, yes, you're the fifth host. The stage is set for the Supreme Court to tackle workplace discrimination against the LGBT community. So do you believe it should be legal to fire someone for being gay? Your comments coming up next.
What's up, guys?
I feel you.
I am going to Dallas. I was going to ask Bert.
Okay,
Are you wearing that because I'm going to Dallas later today? You have a very cowboy.
I
am. You really see
End of the rodeo.
How come we didn't get into the Dallas cops?
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that. So we didn't have
They don't have any audio.
So this Dallas. Yay!
No, we don't have to.
Yeah, no, we can talk about it.
Okay, now
No,
they can hear.
the Dallas cop, there's a, well, Tori can give the backstory, because she says things like that, but the Dallas story, and I can give the take about the judge. There's a lot about the judge that people don't know.
Oh my God! Okay, real quick.
Just a heads up, I'm gonna cut the Laura Ingraham part out too. Just talk about
Really?
the one
You got it.
Just we don't need so much.
Too much.
Video.
I feel you. I got you. All right, so this is the deal. This is about this police officer. This is the story. She was going home late night. She was off duty. We now found out, sexting with her boyfriend. She went to her apartment and only went one floor up and got off. Now, she was busy sexting because she has a big red doormat and he doesn't. This guy.
He has a big.
Oh, he has the big, excuse me. He has the big red doormat. She doesn't. She was busy texting, didn't see it. Opened the door. This gentleman is sitting in his shirt and shorts, eating a vanilla bowl of ice cream, watching TV in no position, says, hey, hey, she yells, hands, and then shoots him twice, 13 feet away, and kills him. She then deletes the sexts. Well, the jury has just been picked, and they're going to have voir dire, which just means I'm going to say yes or no. We have 5 black jurors. We have 5 Latino and Latina people. I think 2 white jurors. The judge is black. We have a black bailiff in a very predominantly black area. So I wonder what you guys are going to say.
Well, I'll go into detail in the next break about the mistrial and this judge who's not playing games with them, trying to
Oh, I can't wait. We're doing that story. Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host when we talk about what you're talking about. To the surprise of many, it's currently legal in 26 states to fire someone because they are transgendered or attracted to the same sex. And October 8th, the U.S. Supreme Court is set to hear 3 cases that will ultimately determine if federal workplace discrimination laws will be extended to protect the rights of the LGBTQ+ community. So DBL Nation, this is a big one. Should employers be able to fire someone because of their sexual sexual orientation or gender identity.
So Jane from Facebook says, it is impossible to separate discrimination because of sex and discrimination because of sexual orientation. And I just feel like this is the same tactic that was used against African Americans. It's the tactics that's been used for gender, race, and sexual orientation. I think we need to stop it and move forward as a country. This is just getting lame.
Wow.
Ooh.
Big take from
Okay, there you go, Lindsay.
Ranger.
Check out the big brain on Lindsay. Candace from Facebook says, there are a few jobs where I would agree that the employer should be able to terminate an employee based on their LGBTQ status. Like, if you were hired to work for a church that was not accepting of gays. Well, why fire them? Why not just reassign them like they do the pedophile priest?
Whoa.
There we go.
Huge take.
I don't know if I can follow those two takes.
Double take.
Jan from Facebook says our sexual preferences should be irrelevant to employment. Jan, I completely agree. I think whenever I go to patronize a business, I just want to be, I want good customer service, and I want the person that I'm talking to be knowledgeable about what they're talking about. I don't care about who they love. I hope they are in love. But what happens once they leave that place of employment is none of my business. And let's keep it like that.
I like it.
Not as strong as ours, but
I couldn't follow pedophile priest.
All right, I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to bring it back. Lonnie from Facebook says, I get it. If you were hired as one sex and become the other, the employer should be able to look for a candidate that fits that particular work environment. Actually, Lonnie, you just proved my case as to why that is. So here's the deal. Climate has to change before laws have changed. So in 1964, gender was required as a protected race. Race was protected, but there was no protection for sexual orientation. We're there. We're woke. It's 2019. The Congress should write the laws. So just so you know, if it was a woman or a man, you can't discriminate. Actually, that is illegal. Here's my prediction about what the Supreme Court will do. They're going to say this is up to Congress to write, or it's up to the states, and they're going to send it back. Unfortunately, I wish they wouldn't, but they aren't going to want to judge it from the bench. Does that make sense? So I think this is headed to Congress or back to the states.
And I think a lot of us were wondering, like, who does this happen to? At least because, well, for me, I've been all from big city areas, so I can't really understand when people have gotten fired for being gay.
Right.
But, you know, us discussing it earlier, it seems like this happens a lot in different cities and states around the country, so it's unfortunate. You think this is not happening, but you just have to open your eyes.
Yeah, it's just, we're there. We're 2019. We're ready for that law to be a protected class, you know?
We're all people. Let's just get on board with that.
Yeah.
So,
and if you're a protected class, you can't change your color of your skin or your gender, much like we know about sexual orientation.
Right.
Go ahead, my love.
So the last one, Ty from Facebook says, I'm a gay man, and I think companies that don't want anyone who's LGBTQ plus working for them will just bully them out anyway. And that would be a really poor way to handle it. So I hope that really doesn't happen, Ty, because that's no way.
And again, like you said, people said that about African Americans. Well, it's going to be a really hostile work environment, and here we are.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
It's pretty hostile.
Look at this real hot table here. Look at this, we're doing it.
Can't stand it.
All right, a new reboot, guys, in the works has been met with some mixed reactions. Raquel, what's going on?
Well, Tori, this is another day and another remake. This time it's Walker, Texas Ranger. Al's excited here. CBS confirmed the 90s action series is coming back as a show called Walker. Only this time, beloved star Chuck Norris won't be the main character. I know, it's going to star Jared Padalecki. But many people online are voicing their concern about messing with this classic. So, DBL Nation, what do you think? Would you watch this reboot?
That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard.
Well, you know, I mean, I'm assuming Chuck's probably pushing 80.
He's still doing Copperfield
I think
commercials.
the Walker would have another meaning.
We're ending it there. That was funny. That was really funny. That was good. All right, coming up on DBL, harvesting hope and compassion. Watch how farmers helped out their friend when he needed it the absolute most.
There was about to be a mistrial because the DA spoke out of turn. There was a gag order that he was not supposed to speak before the trial started happening, but he went out and did an interview. And so the judge is really not playing that, and they're not having a mistrial. She is actually a very strict judge. Her name is Tammy Kemp, and she has a history of prosecuting people like the worst of the worst. She even gave death penalty for a man who drowned his kids. So she is not joking, and you know, I don't think that these games will go past in her courtroom.
Right.
I was saying
I love her.
the judge is like no nonsense type of lady.
Liz,
So
let me ask you a question. XOOX wrote us us and said, why does it matter that she was sexting? I only say that because she then deleted the sex. I don't care that you're sexting. Sexting is fine. You're off duty, do what you do. Right. But the idea that you then deleted it, and that was why she was distracted.
But it's even bigger than that when she's trying to say that she was out of it because working, I believe, like a 14-something hour shift. And she worked 40 days and 40 hours in like 3 or 4 days. So you're trying to say that, oh, I didn't know, I didn't know. But if you're sitting there sexting, trying to set up your night, you know what's going on. If you walk past 16 housing units and you get to a door that has a red welcome mat and you don't have a red welcome mat in front of your apartment, when I get off my apartment building, when I get off the elevator, I know which one's my door, regardless or not.
And if you were sexting and you're distracted, got it. But at least say that, or at least be honest.
That's the thing. It's just like, first of all, I've actually done that. I've gone into the wrong apartment after, because leaving the gym in my apartment complex, I walked into.
Because they're all the same, yeah.
I walked into my identical apartment on a different floor. Wow. So this story is very interesting to me.
Wow.
Yeah. I just didn't have that.
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Hard Threads is all about helping a neighbor in need. Watch this touching act of kindness. These farmers came together to help one of their own battling cancer. Stage 4 melanoma had taken its toll on farmer Larry Yaki. Neighbors asked if he would be able to harvest the crops on his land.
Whether I was going to be able to harvest like I did in years past, and I finally it's bittersweet. I had to tell him no.
Larry's neighbors knew immediately that they wanted to help.
I wasn't hesitate a bit.
These farmers gathered the crews and supplies they needed over 3 months. Then, around 60 farmers did 3 weeks of work in 6 hours. The hard work and love of Larry's neighbors left him overwhelmed.
It's just awe-inspiring to see how fast these fields are evaporating. It's not describable, the gratitude I have for what's going on today.
I love that sense of community and how they took care of one of their own. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Hey guys, welcome back to Beauty Blast. I'm Jeray Banks, or you can find me at Jeray for the Slay on any social media platform. Today, I'm giving you guys a red light beauty tip. These are quick tips to make sure that you can slay in a pinch. So let's go ahead and get right to it. This week's red light beauty tip is buying 2 concealers instead of 1. Now, this is great because you always want to be able to make sure that you're able to touch up on the go. Now, 2 concealers because we want 1 shade brightening our under eye. Typically, you want to lean towards more of a pink undertone concealer or peachy finish for this, or you want a concealer that matches your complexion. These are going to be great for on-the-go touch-ups. Now, a lot of the time, you can buy 2 different ones, or you can buy a single individual concealer pack. My holy grail favorite is the MAC Studio Pro Studio Fix Concealer Palettes. Those guys are going to be able to conceal and correct for an 8-hour finish that lasts through the day. And if you're needing to work makeup more than 8 hours, then come talk to your boy, because we can go look into some ingredients, okay? Now, with that being said, you want these 2 different concealers for so many different reasons. Just think about it. After a long day at work, you don't look the same as you did at 8 a.m., honey. So, might as well go ahead and touch up that under eye for a quick happy hour finish, or for a quick look on the go for happy hour. And then another reason, let's just think about it. Allergies are upon us in that sickly time of the year where everyone has a cold, and you're sniffling. Your nose is constantly looking kind of red. Therefore, you might as well pick up that concealer that matches your complexion and touch up for your under, or for your right around your nose. Now, for your under eye, we all have leaky eyes sometimes, so brightening and keeping that brightening concealer is going to be great for on the go once again. Now, if you guys have more beauty questions, make sure you write in at Jeray for the Slay on all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'll meet you there, all right, guys? We'll talk to you next time.
What makes our show unique and unlike anything else in daytime is we're telling you the truth. This is the way we feel. We're not sugarcoating an answer just because social media tells us to think this way.
A lot of times it comes back to just that people want to be acknowledged, and we're able to acknowledge our viewers in a very real way.
So God forbid there's a shooting or we landed on Mars. I have someone I'm working through this with.
But one thing I love about DBL is our diversity. You see a panel of people from all different walks of life, and that has helped me shape my perspective.
For multiple hours every single day, we do live television. Well, what are some of the benefits from that? The chemistry developed between the hosts. I mean, you can't buy this.
You don't have time to rehearse. You don't have time to have a second take. You can't edit what you're going to say, so you just have to be off the cuff and let your hair down, so to speak. And I think that is what makes us so unique.
That is cool. We look so cool.
I know.
We're watching all these promos live.
Like, I'm just really, we're watching it live.
I feel like when we come back from, we're like, oh yeah, we're on the show.
We're on the show. Yeah, we love it. No, I do have some Chuck Norris jokes for you guys. Do you want to hear them?
Yes, this is.
All right,
this
so
pertains to the
clap if you
Walker
guys-
text. Now, were you a fan of the show?
Yeah, I was a huge fan of the show. So this is Chuck Norris. You guys know him. It was Walker, Texas Ranger. There might be a reboot. He might not make it. Here's some great Chuck Norris jokes. So clap in the studio if you like the joke. Chuck Norris can pick oranges from an apple tree and make the best lemonade you've ever tasted. Okay. Chuck Norris once put out a forest fire using only gasoline. Okay. Chuck Norris slaps a television and invents the flat screen. 30 seconds. When Chuck Norris was born, he drove his mom home from the hospital.
Oh, I like that one. I like that one.
Okay, there's one. Okay. How about this? Chuck Norris rides a unicycle, pops a wheelie. Okay. Chuck Norris boards a plane in mid-flight. Okay, all right. Well, be good to each other. We're all fighting an uphill battle. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.